do know about this ESC, for those of us that are used to castle creations like XLX, the Mambas and everything, these do not have boost like those ESCs do. They have your usual stuff, your voltage cutoff, your running modes, and throttle limits. Throttle limit, I guess, is the inverse of boost. But there really is no boost. It's either full open or you can decrease it in tens of percents from wide open all the way down to 90% and just have 10% power. But where's the fun in that, right? So I'm going to show you on the programming card, the ZTW programming card, how I have this particular car from FG set up. And maybe if I have time before I go back to work, I'll actually run it. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. If it's not too hot. It's just been really hot lately. So on this ESC, I have an SMC 6S battery to power it. On the other side, because you can run this ESC on 12S, which is going to be insane in a car this size and weight. I bet you if it was the racing chassis, it would be even stupider. But I have it just looped off here so we could run it on 6S and have enough to program what we need to do. So on this ESC programmer, the white wire goes towards the top of the screen and you'll have it like soda. Press any key. Let's start back at 1. Voltage cutoff, I have it 3.2, so you can do all the way down to 3.1, which I wouldn't do, but I think 3.2, like I run in most of my ESCs, is quite sufficient. Running mode, forward, reverse, brake, because I'm not racing. I just like going around my silly little track behind the church. That suffices my enjoyment. And forward, reverse, brake works for me. The options you have are forward and reverse, forward and brake, forward, reverse, brake. Motor timing. I just run it in normal to keep the heat down, especially here in Florida. So here are your options. You got the way it comes from the box. Motor timing is normal, high. Remember, as you go higher with the motor timing, your motor temperature is going to go up. I would try this if I was going for a speed run on setting number 5, very high. But for just going around in my silly little circle track, number 3 is fine. Very low, you increase your efficiency, but you take away the power from your motor and keep the temperature down. That's also an option for us guys that run around in Florida. But 3 is normal. That's good enough for me. Acceleration. Like I said, this particular FG is not the super duper expensive one. It's good enough for what I do. So I have the acceleration on low so I don't go blowing stuff up and then having to wait 3 weeks for stuff to come from Germany or Dave's Discount Motors or FG Supply or Detroit Performance. So I keep it on low, but your options are low, medium, high, very high. And that sounds like a lot of fun. Maybe that's ZTW's equivalent of the boost. You know, the torque boost that they have in their ESCs? I don't know. But low is good enough for me. So I press OK, and it saves it. There we go. Reverse throttle, 40% is usually good enough to get you out of the grass. I choose to keep it down low, but your options are, if we start off at 1, you got 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, which is where I like it. Sometimes I'm going to keep it on 40 because you don't need to go that fast in reverse. 70, 80, 90. Wow, that's silly. 90% in reverse. Whoa! 100% in reverse, not necessary. But like I said, let's make sure we do. There we go. So forward throttle. This is where you limit your throttle. So if you don't want to limit your throttle, you keep this on 0%. But as you increase this, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, now you've limited your throttle. So I keep it on 0, the throttle is wide open. Brake force, 30%, that's good enough for me. That way it doesn't skid and spin out. I noticed on the Castle XLX2 that 30% was pretty good. Let's try 30% on this car. But your options are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Oh, there was no 90, it was just 100. Far out. Next option, drag brake. On my little circle track, if I was to let off the throttle just before I go into a turn, usually 20% is good enough for me. It slows it down and keeps it from spinning out, and that's good enough for me. So let's do 0, 4, 8, 12, 15, 20, 25, 30, and 0. Motor rotation, normal. You got of course, you can only have 2 options, you know, right? Duh! So normal and reverse. I have it set to normal. I'm not done setting this car up yet, but I'm pretty sure it's in normal mode. 10, neutral range. I don't ever mess with this. I just leave this in the setting that it comes with. So let's go through. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. I don't ever mess with that. I guess you could, but I don't. BEC out. So on this particular car, the BEC has 2 different settings, which is kind of crappy for a ESC of this size. You'd expect more, like 8.4 volts or something like that. Because I run a gyro to help keep the car straight when I'm going fast, I have to run the Futaba GY401. The maximum voltage for that gyro is 6 volts. It really should be run at 4.8 volts. But if I run it at 4.8 volts, then there's basically very little power in the high-tech D845 1/5 scale servo. So 6 volts is good enough for the gyro, and it gives me like 500 and some ounces of torque for the steering. I leave it there. But like I said, your options are 6 volts and 7.4. That's all you have. It would be nice to have better options for that. Maybe in future versions. So that's it. That's all you get to choose on this. There's no logging available on these ESCs. It's just 300 amps, 12S. $59. $59's pretty cool. This car in 12S is a lot of fun. The tires didn't leave the room, which is a good thing.